Welcome once again to Off the Pitch. Man, we are so excited to be joined in your company this evening. We have got an absolutely crazy, brilliant show for you. But before I get into it, as you can see, I'm donning the classic kit of FC Barcelona in the 2009-2010 season. Why am I talking about classic kits? Because Off the Pitch have partnered with Classic Kits. So if you've ever wondered, where can I find a kit of, let's say, the 1999 Manchester United treble-winning team, the Arsenal Invincibles, or any kit locally as well as internationally as well? Contact these guys. They will hook you up with some of the best kits out there. That's classickits.co.za. But on a separate note, I'm joined by a very interesting gentleman from topcorner.co.za. If you've ever played fantasy football, fantasy league, if you've ever played any type of those football manager games, this is a gentleman who has mixed the two together. His name is Mo. Mo, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, and you, sir?
How are things? How was the weekend? You had a good weekend?
I had a good weekend.
100%. I mean, let's get into it, Mo. A lot of people have been talking about fantasy league, and obviously we know the Premier League has a fantasy league, which is so exciting. You can choose players, you can buy players. I mean, and a lot of people invest so much time. Even corporate companies start to ban people from playing these type of games. But how did this whole concept start with regards to fantasy league and your whole passion for this?
Okay. So our fantasy league stems from allowing individuals to be managers of PSL teams.
Yeah.
So what it does is you choose a team that you favor. So should you choose Chiefs as your favorite team, once you register as a manager for Kaizer Chiefs, you'll be able to get the squad for the whole Kaizer Chiefs teams in real life currently. And then once you have that team set up, you'll be able to now buy players from different teams. You can buy a Shalulile from Sundowns. You can buy a Mayo from Cape Town City. And then you build your own squad that you will be competing with against other managers on the fantasy league as well.
But before we go there, I mean, is this completely different then from what we're seeing in the England Premier League, where you are choosing individual players and you're making up a team? It sounds like Game Yachao, it's a bit different, where you already have a team that you've chosen and then you can add or subtract to that team.
Yes, sir. So our game is different in a way that once you register, as I said, you get your whole team. You get a budget, an extra budget on top of that team, which is like 1 million rand.
Jesus, 1 million rand.
And then from that 1 million rand, you are able to buy players from different teams, and then you are able to sell off players from your bench or players within your Kaizer Chiefs that you feel maybe you don't really feel that they will earn you points. So you may be able to you sell them. And then once you sell a player, let's say it's 50,000, that 50,000 goes into your 1 million. Now you have 1,050,000.
Where did you think of this idea? Because, you know, this is a first actually in South Africa with regards to a fantasy league. What came about? I mean, were you playing the English fantasy league and one day you thought, no, man, I want to see Kune in this game. I want to see our own local South African players.
So how it came about was there was a market. So as myself, you know, when you're growing up, your family will be favoring this certain team. So whether it's Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs, then you also inherit that team as your favorite team. Now, growing up, seeing, okay, now why can't we have players that we were playing games like as FIFA introduced Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates, and now they've introduced Sundowns into their FIFA game.
We had a show about that the other day.
So now why can't we have a game which is strictly ours, which is the players we are familiar with, the players that we support, the teams that you get to know knowledge. Instead of saying I'm only watching Kaizer Chiefs games, you'll be able to now say I can watch Cape Town City play versus Royal AM because I have players within my fantasy league which I've placed within my starting 11, and then it gives people a chance to increase their knowledge based on players, not know them by just names, but how they perform.
How does that work? I mean, you start the game, let's use a hypothetical example. I'm managing Mamelodi Sundowns. How much do I get in my kitty to trade players, buy and sell? How does that work?
Okay, so initially you get 1 million. So from that 1 million, it's 1 million plus the Sundowns team. Full. And then with that 1 million, you are able to buy players from different teams. And then once you sell a player from Sundowns, because I think Peter Shalulile and Alendez are the most highly expensive.
Give me an idea.
ones.
I mean, when you say Peter Shalulile is one of the most expensive in the game, how much is he worth?
It's 250,000.
Jeez, 200 for one player.
For one player.
So
but
basically, a quarter of your budget, Shalulile Fela is done.
It's done.
Basically.
Yeah, but at the same time, he will earn you points so that you will be able to win the prize.
If he does well.
And you become a champion. Because now
Yeah.
the debate within managers right now is that who's a plumber? You know, you get to comment every time on Twitter and Facebook, hey, Zwan is doing this.
And this is on your Top Corner Twitter page, obviously on Twitter and as well as Instagram and Facebook there as well.
Yeah, so people have been arguing, well, okay, now let's see who's a real plumber now. You are given a team, you are able to manage your own team, you are able to change your starting 11 every week.
Does the game though, Mo, sorry to interrupt you, not become easy if I manage Sundowns? I've got R1 million and we'll get to the top up because you mentioned there's an element that you could obviously top up your account. But if I'm managing Mamelodi Sundowns, those players are winning week in and week out. They're top of the log. They're doing well domestically. Does the game not then become too easy? Where the other game, the English Premier League, you are choosing individual players within a budget.
Okay, so we were asked this question during our manager spaces during the weekend.
Sure.
So what happens is you can choose Sundowns as a whole team and say they perform, it's fine. But you find that during that weekend, they lose.
But
they
Sundowns don't lose more.
They can lose. Impossible as football within the football.
True.
So they can lose, they can concede 3 goals, and then they earn 5 points for the whole squad for Sundowns. And then I chose Billiard here, I chose Mayo there, and then they earn me 50 points. So I'll be ahead of the pack. So it depends on how you play as a manager. So we're giving you the opportunity to say, if I was a coach and I was a general manager of this team, how would I build my Kaizer Chiefs?
I see. So this is a bit of fantasy league meets a bit of, FIFA player mode manager. So you've basically come up with something which is very unique, I must say, Mo, and I really have to congratulate you. It's a one-stop shop with regards to esports and general entertainment within the football world. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
I mean, this is something that, you really... And I mean, from currently, what are the users looking like? You started what? How many months ago?
Okay, we started on the 6th of September, so this is probably our 3rd week.
Yeah.
So within our first 2 weeks, we have 450 managers with different teams who are competing on the Fantasy League. And then our stats-wise, it's been exceptionally well received. And within the comments, as we say, we host spaces.
You'll get to the comments. I want us to touch on the comments in the second segment, chatting all things Mo and manager mode. Are you a manager? Who knows? Fantasy League, that's topcorner.co.za. Back with Mo in a sec. Stay tuned. Welcome back, segment 2. We are still here with South Africa's first, listen to this, local football fantasy league. That's topcorner.co.za. Check them out. We're still here with Mo. Mo, you were talking about comments, and you've only been in existence for what? Since the 6th of September. You're doing absolutely brilliant. I met you a couple of days ago, and what you've been able to achieve. I know it's still early days, but to have 450 users in such a short space of time, you are a programming genius, my brother. But coming back to it, what are some of the comments that you've been getting from the game, maybe from the users, as well as just people on social media in general and people outside?
Okay, so since the inception or going public after our own internal testing, so we've been having this policy of allowing the users to give us suggestions on what to change. So we're not only building it for ourselves, but if you see something that you would like to see, you can tell us and then we'll add on.
You can tweak,
Yeah, so we've included the captain feature.
Okay.
So from your starting 11, you can choose a captain. And then from the performance of that player that you've captained, you'll be able to now get double points for that specific player. We received comments on saying, why don't we change formations? So
from a 3-4-3
from a standard, you can choose your own formation that you'll be able to see, and then we implemented that one.
Before you go there, what's the most popular formation? I mean, I'm assuming, let me take a wild guess, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3? Or those are some of the common ones?
The common one is 3-4-1-3.
Hey, South Africans,
Yeah.
they're mixing and matching with the formation.
Yeah, so they are playing around.
Sure.
So currently we have 7 formations that you can play
Okay,
around. We will
okay.
add more as
Okay.
time goes.
Okay.
And then the other comment was, what if we see what Malo has done with his team? So you are able now to view another manager's starting 11 on how they've assembled their team.
Oh,
so
I don't know if that's a good idea to allow people access, because then you're not going to get 100 people with the same team, same formation. You know, if I'm coming number 8 in the log, in the leaderboard, and I can copy number 1, it'll make me rise up quicker. Or how are you seeing that?
What if you're copying a Lucky Plumber for your
You like
own
this
team?
word, plumber?
No, it's been mentioned a lot because everyone is competing in that format. So
Sure.
you are choosing someone who was lucky for the first 2 weeks.
I see.
And then you're copying them, and all of a sudden it's down spiraling from there.
Talk to me about features, and maybe some of the new features that people are asking about, or the current features that you have in the game. News, I know you and Diani, who's our resident analyst, were talking about, you know, obviously him being a seasoned journalist, he's able to get fresh content, fresh news. The transfer window has just closed last week in the PSL. Is that something that you're looking at adding?
So yeah, the news part is already there.
Yeah.
It's just missing content for now.
Yeah.
Don't want to as we are still in accordance with Diani, who will be one of our major partnerships. We will also be having podcasts on the platform that will be mainly Fantasy League.
Okay.
So who to choose, whose player is performing, who is injured.
Like an off-the-pitch podcast.
Yeah, like off-the-pitch. Yeah. Also, you will be part of that, of the segment as well. So from those weekly podcasts, we have fixtures now where we want to include more fan engagement.
Yes.
So, because this now has to be a platform that also gives knowledge to other people who doesn't know what Gezana's position is.
Besides also that, I mean, competitions, I mean, how do people, why should someone join Top Corner? You know, besides obviously the leaderboard, you do well. Are there prizes that you're thinking about doing monthly, weekly, at the end of the season? I mean, how does that work?
So currently we're doing prizes for the end of the season. Okay. So the top 5 at the end of the season next year, they will be able to win cash prizes.
Okay.
And then as we are approaching sponsors now, we can include monthly prizes, weekly prizes, as well as trivia competition prizes that we can introduce.
Have you thought about, or is there, you might not want to mention, you know, just yet, is there already a figure in mind that you have to say, okay, come end of the season, there's 100,000, 50,000, or is that going to depend on maybe some of the deals that you do with some of the sponsors?
We had a figure that we had in mind, but
it's not to be released yet.
No. Let it be fair for every manager now, so that it can be introduced to all of them. But we will announce a price soon. But yeah, so probably for now, from our own budget. Remember, this is mainly from our own pockets.
Yes, 100%.
So we don't have any sponsor. We don't
100%,
have any backup. We don't. This was done by us, for
100%.
us, and for managers.
100%.
So we were thinking around, for the top 5, if you can have maybe estimately 50,000 that they can share and split. And then going forward, we can increase.
Absolutely brilliant. But still here, chatting to Mo from topcorner.co.za. And this is something that just blew my mind. This, to me, is the genius of the man that I'm chatting to you today, where I'll let him explain it, but it's the top-up element, which for me is a first ever. I've never seen it. I've been playing Football Manager my whole life and all of these games, but explain what is top-up and how people can put real money into the game and then increase their tally at the end.
Okay, so with the top-up, remember you get a 1 million rands budget to build your own team in the game. So should your budget be exhausted, and you don't want to sell more players from your team,
like the government's budget.
So if your budget is complete and you still feel like, okay, you're left with 50,000, you want to buy, let's say, a player who's 150,000, you are able to now buy 100,000 of the game, of the game money, and then with let's say $100 of your own money, and then the platform, once you've purchased that.
Credit,
and then it automatically
so basically,
adds
is it like a 1 to 1,000 ratio? I put in 10 rand, I get 1,000, or I put in 100 rand, so that's
get
quite
100,000. Yeah, you put in 1,000, you get 1 million. So now you are able to compete more with other managers who are
So I'm
way
sure
ahead
some
of
of your
you.
rich friends already are putting in money and
Uh,
they're
so
doing well on the game.
Nah, so far everybody still has their own budget,
Yeah.
and we have not locked the transfer window as yet
Yes,
because
yes.
some managers, we're still having a debate. As we said, we don't give everyone a guideline on how it works. We take responses from everyone.
So the game is constantly adapting and evolving, and I think that's
Yeah.
another thing that is absolutely brilliant that not a lot of games do. You know, you go out and you purchase some of these online games, and it's a one-stop shop. It's finished, the game is closed. But what I love about what you're doing, I know it seems like I'm singing your praises here, but you're doing such brilliant work that you are engaging with the actual users, and not a lot of brands and not a lot of people are actually doing this, especially in the gaming environment where you're constantly looking for feedback. You're hosting people online and letting them actually talk to you and give
Yeah.
you feedback as well.
Because the aim for this one is to have people enjoy.
Yeah.
And also it's good for South African football because
Yeah.
now your fans are more engaged
100%.
into viewing your games, also knowing information on who's injured, being up to date
Exactly,
with that information.
exactly.
So if we build it for them to be perfect and be a very enjoyable game
Sure.
for them, it becomes
I don't know if you've got a
enjoyable for
tag
us.
offline or a tagline, but we need to find one for the game. But stay tuned in the third segment. Mo is going to talk everything sponsorship and how you, potentially some of the brands, want to get involved in. What else is in there for some of the users and players there as well. Stay tuned. Still here on Off the Pitch, talking all things topcorner.co.za, South Africa's first local fantasy league. Absolutely brilliant stuff that Mo is doing. So Mo, last week, I think it was Thursday, the PSL transfer window closed. So talk to us about when things happen in the real world, you know, this world of real world and virtual world, everything's all mixed. What happens in the game now? Because now the transfer window is closed there. Does it close in your game or do you leave it open, and how does that whole system work?
Okay. So since the transfer window closed Thursday last week, so we were supposed to close also the transfer window in our fantasy league. But now, since we started late on the platform and the season was already underway,
You want to give people time.
we wanted to give people time. Also, we received certain suggestions from managers to say, okay, now just lock the releasing of players, but we can still buy players. And then some managers saying, let us not buy or sell up until the next transfer window. So currently, we are still giving the managers the opportunity to give us feedback, and then there will be a voting poll on everyone who can say which one do we go for, and then as a collaborative use and everything.
Do you make all decisions based on the majority rules? I mean, when do you step in as the originator and the founder of this business and say, no, you don't agree? Or do you make certain decisions without consulting them, or do you consult with every single matter that arises from the poll?
Okay. Regarding our business model, certain things we can't just
open it up.
We have to see what's best for
The business,
platform to grow as well, and for the platform to be better. So we can't say copy this and then we take that suggestion and copy another link.
Sharp.
So usually things that are beneficial for everyone, that's when we are open to taking suggestions from them.
So currently, Mo, in South Africa, there's games that maybe start on a Friday, let's say at 7, or on a Saturday, let's say at 2 or 3. So when do you lock the game? Because I'm assuming that during games, people cannot be transferring and selling and buying. Do you block the whole weekend time band, or is it an hour, 5 hours before? How does that work?
Okay, so currently what we do is before the games, let's say games start on Friday to Sunday. So we lock the substitutions for your starting 11 an hour before the first game of the weekend.
What happens if you were out the night before and you slept and you forgot to lock? I mean, does that ever happen?
Yeah, it does happen, but you had Monday to Thursday for you to be able to
Sure.
Because remember, our platform is a match center where you see all the fixtures that are upcoming.
Match center, absolutely
so
brilliant.
To see the top 5 performing players on the fantasy league regarding the points that they've earned. You are able to view the player points before you transfer or you buy or you sell.
So you know exactly what you're
what
getting.
You're doing, and then so you should be engaged enough to know,
Yeah.
okay, by Friday I
Yes.
have to have my team set up.
100%.
And then so that the points can be calculated fairly
Yeah.
for everyone.
Mo, let's talk about the big thing now. That is sponsorship. I mean, I'm sure you're running up and down. You've got petrol to take care of. You've got employees. I mean, the whole platform needs your time. How do brands get involved? Are there sponsorship opportunities, advertising? I'm sure after this, you're going to get a lot of people that just want to know that we want to get involved in this.
Yeah, so we provision space for advertising.
Yeah.
And then for sponsorships, we are still currently looking, and we're open to
Yeah.
sponsorships so that we can have more value for our
Yeah.
players or our managers
Yeah.
rather, so they can win weekly prizes,
Yeah.
monthly prizes
Yeah.
as well as be knowledgeable about
Yeah.
your product as
Yeah,
well.
100%.
So we are open to sponsorships. We are open to advertising. There are spaces provisioned around the platform for advertising so that the platform can make money and we can grow. As last we received like 4 proposals for programmers who want to volunteer
Okay, wow.
and help us grow
Okay.
the platform.
So sometimes it's not only money, it's actually hands and people that want to assist. But Mo, before we let you go, social media, how do people get in touch? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
Okay, we are Top Corners on Twitter and
Okay.
then Top Corners Facebook, Top Corners Instagram.
WhatsApp number, phone number? No, you're not there. You want to sleep? Mo wants to sleep at night, so that is Mo from topcorner.co.za. But coming up, King Curtis was at the rugby this weekend. Oh, South Africa in that absolutely massive game. Listen to what he had to say post-match.
What a crazy day this has been. We saw it from the morning, Australia, New Zealand, and we were expecting Australia to come through for us as South Africans, but it didn't come through. And then today we watched the freaking South Africa play against Argentina, and we were needing 39 points just to take the championship. I'm with Setu, former rugby player. You watched the game. You were at the stadium right we are right now.
Yes.
What's your take of the game?
A little concerned about the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think the team came through, I could tell. I think it was never in question that we would win.
Yep.
But yeah. the
We will
fact-
win this game.
Yes, of course. It was never in doubt. But
Yeah.
I think what is required to meet the level of rugby that is now common across the world, I think the team needs to up the stakes.
Setu, we watched South Africa. They went to Argentina. We thrashed them first half.
Yeah.
Second half, they came back again. And I'm sure, was it something that we expected again this game?
I think what we expected is a South Africa that could dominate from beginning to end,
Yeah.
purely on the basis of strategy, firstly, and using the skill that we know we have.
Yeah.
But that is not what we saw here today. And I would hope that in the next game, we bring the dominance that I think everyone knows that we have.
But where were we lacking? Seleka ukuthi mhlambe ucoach unenkinga, mhlambe we should change the coach in general, or mhlambe nathi fight to stay. Really?
I think that's a bit above my pay level, but what I would say is that the Argentinians were nimble
Yeah.
and quick on the ball and very decisive, and we came across as a little flat-footed in very important moments.
So we're coming out as us now plan B.
In essence. In essence.
But
We did come across that.
iyasabisa leyo nto then ukuthi sibheke kwi-World Cup
Yeah.
like literally in a year's time.
Yeah.
Yes, we still at the end of the tour, which is improve, Usanjan.
Yeah.
But if we start struggling against Argentina, sizokwenza with the big countries then.
I think the kind of gameplay that the South African team is currently showing will require revision. We
Yeah.
need to look a little bit more ahead and understand that we may be dominant, but we need to keep our foot on the pulse and understand the kind of football, the kind of rugby.
Thank you to Mo from topcorner.co.za. If you guys do not want to get involved in this, I really don't know what you're doing. And thank you once again to Classic Shirts. Look out, man. We're going to be having some absolutely fantastic competitions with these guys. And who knows, maybe you can be rocking some of these classic shirts in your next braai or your next Sunday outing, wherever it is that you may go. Thank you once again to King Curtis and everyone that made the show possible. We'll see you same time, same place next week. We out.